Hello, peoples off the tube, and welcome to something a little bit different to usual. So last week I was in town and I went past the charity shop, and in the window they had this display of vintage toys and games. And it's quite a loose definition of vintage because there's stuff from 2006. There's one of the very first Doctor Who figures of the range that I collect. I didn't get that. What I did get though was this 1989 Doctor Who board game, Battle for the Universe. I saw it. I'll show you this. I'll be honest, I was drawn by the box. The box is beautiful. It's so nice. It's very, very sort of its time. We've got the old BBC logo. We've got the Doctor Who logo from the 80s. It's just such a nice thing. It's in lovely condition. It's got a few scuffs around the outside of the box, but I mean that's really nice. The back of the box, show us upside down. The back of the box shows you the board and the box and the pieces and a bit of a description. Join the phenomenal trailblazing Time Lord in an exciting and truly timeless adventure of science fiction, the game which draws together the Doctor, his companions, and his many daunting assailants. Meet the fascinating challenges on the ring of weapons and devices. Encounter the danger of the perilous black hole. Build up your inner force to face the ultimate struggle in the battle for the universe. BBC and Doctor Who are trademarks of the British Broadcasting Corporation. And then there's just a bunch of legal stuff. Copyright 1989, licensed by BBC Enterprises. So, yes, this is a thing. It was £8, which is a reasonable price for a thing like this. I've looked online, the cheapest I can see it's about 10. And this is a cool thing. I'm going to show you just a general gist of it and explain the rules as much as I understand them. There's an instructions book, but I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's kind of lengthy and a bit boring. But this is what the instructions look like. There's quite a lot of it. There's quite a lot of instructions for how to play it. It's complicated, but I do get the general gist of it. So let me run you through what this board game is all about. I've not played it yet. I will admit that I've not played it. This is just my take on what it's all about. So first of all, we've got the pieces, which come in this nice little baggie. Everything is there. Incidentally, I should add the whole. It's all intact and in all the original pieces. When I saw the instructions said 8 game pieces and a dice, I saw these. We've got 4 white ones. 4 of these little white chaps. We've got 1 black, 1 blue, 1 red. We've got the die, and we've got this completely differently shaped silver one. And I thought, okay, so the original owners have lost half the pieces and swapped them out for just whatever's going on. No, these are the correct counters for the game. So what are all these pieces? Let me just sit them down and I'll explain their function to you. It's exciting, isn't it? Once I've explained this, we can have a game if you want. Do you want to play a board game with me? You can. You probably can't. I don't know how that would work. So it's for 2 to 4 players, and you roll the die to decide, who plays as which character. If you're the Doctor, you have these 4 white tokens, and these represent your regenerations. You don't get 13 of them. Well, 12, I suppose. Well, no, 13, because your first life. You don't get 13, you get 4. And these are your pieces. You start with these 4 pieces. The other players that don't get to be the Doctor get to either be the Master, which is the black one, I think, Davros, which I believe is red, or the Cyber Controller, who is blue. Now we've got this board, which has 2 sides. We've got the rings here, and we've got this single ring with a bunch of things on it. The pieces start off on these 3 rings. The Doctor, I know, starts off in the TARDIS, and only the Doctor can use. There's a TARDIS here, there's a TARDIS here, and there's a TARDIS here. And when you roll your dice, you move that number of spaces around the board. If you get to an intersection, like here or here or here, you can swap rings. You've got to move, I think it's clockwise. You've got to move clockwise. And you move around the board the number of spaces, either just going round and round or go round and then onto here. And So that's how you move. If you're the Doctor and you land on the TARDIS, you can jump to another TARDIS. Obviously, if you're not the Doctor, you can't use the TARDIS. And I don't know where the other characters start. I've forgotten. But it's not too important. That's how you move around the board. Then at the points here where the rings cross, well, and also here and here and here, there are battle zones. So each ring has a battle zone 1, and if you land on battle zone 1, which is just on the edge of a ring, you do battle with someone in your ring, in that same ring. If you land in battle zone 2, which crosses 2 rings, you can do battle with someone in either of those 2 rings. If you land in battle zone 3, you can do a battle with anyone, because the battle zone 3 here, they sort of cross over all 3 rings. So that's the battles. Now, when you're not battling, you'll see these pieces, and I'm going to show you the cards later on. There's cards as well. Each of these squares, it's kind of hard to read with my bad camera, but they've got names on them. So like this grey one here is, oh, that's the Rani. So that, yeah, that's the Rani. So the Rani is in this, and there's Dalek 4, there's Morbius, Mutant 1, Ice Warrior 3. Each of these stops on the ring, apart from the TARDISes, hyperspace, and the battle zone. I don't know what, I honestly, I don't know what hyperspace is. That's maybe where the other characters can start. It's maybe like the TARDIS for the characters that can't use the TARDIS. So when you land on these pieces, like Dalek 3, K9, Black Guardian, you take the card for that character. If you're the Doctor and you land on a villain card like Omega or Cyberman, then that card you just take it out of the game. If you're a villain, you take that card and you keep it for later. Yeah, this is. I hope you're following along, because this is like so much like exposition and information. It's quite confusing. Anyway, you gather as many cards as you can. The Doctor can only collect his companions, and he's got 3 of them in the game, or is it 4? I think it's 4. It's 3 or 4. I forgot now. I think it's Romana, Tegan. Yeah, Romana, Tegan, Ace, K9. 4. Each person has 4 people off their own team. The Master has the Rani, Omega, and Barusa, and Morbius. Davros has Dalek 1, Dalek 2, Dalek 3, Dalek 4, and the Cyber Controller has Cyberman 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then there's other random villains that you can get on your team if you're a baddie, and they can be in your fight. All the characters have numbers for how much skill they have using these weapons, okay? So the weapons are Crystal of Kronos, which is from the Time Monster. Patrick Troughton's Recorder, which is I don't think this is a weapon. I think that's where the grey. I'll explain the grey piece in a bit. Time Warp, which is from Rocky Horror Picture Show. Sonic Gun, I don't know. Dodecahedron from Meglos. Time Destructor, which I think that's from the Dalek Master Plan. Seal of Diplos, I don't remember. I don't remember. Black Hole is just a black hole. The Key to Time, which in this is just an actual key instead of a cube. Jelly Baby. So those are the weapons. You roll a dice when this is when the battle happens. You roll a dice, and you move this piece, the number, and it stops on the weapon that's going to be used in the battle. And whichever cards you've put forward for the battle, and if you're the Doctor, you've got to put forward the Doctor, amongst the people that you're putting forward. Their combined ability with that thing, whoever's got the highest number wins that battle and takes all the other cards that are in the battle. If you're the Doctor, and you get captured, you lose one of these. If you're a villain, you just lose all the cards that you've got. So obviously, if you're a villain, you don't play as yourself. You put other people to fight for you. Does that make sense? That's the gist of it, really. Once someone has lost all their pieces, or the Doctor's lost all his regenerations, you're out. If you're a baddie and you've captured the Doctor's companions, you can't use them in your battle, but you can hold them hostage, and the Doctor can win them back by winning battles. So that's about it, really. That's the gist of the game. Whoever's last left, there's 4 players. Whoever's the last one left wins. Obviously, you can play it with 2, then you won't have a final battle. There is a final battle. I don't really remember how that works. It's not too important. Now, what I would like to talk to you about is the cards. Because I mentioned this on Twitter the day I got it, and I got a reply from Philip Hawkins, who had this game as a child back in the 90s, and remembered the artwork on the box being really nice, but the card artwork being kind of ropey. And honestly, he's being kind of generous with the card. Ropey is being kind. Honestly, some of it's not bad, but some of it. Well, I will show you. I'll show you them to see. I'm not sure how well. If they don't show up well on camera, I'll take some pictures and cut them in. But um, this is the Marshman from Full Circle. I love Full Circle. It's a story I like a lot. But this is so that one's fine. You can kind of recognize that as a Marshman from Full Circle. There are three of these. That's Marshman 1 and 2. We've got Lynx the Sontaran, who is actually looks more like the Sontaran from the Two Doctors, but that's honestly that's a pretty good picture of a Sontaran. I think that's quite good. That's quite a good picture. Then we've got Mutant 1, 2, and 3. I'm not sure what these are supposed to be from. The mutants, maybe? They don't look like the mutants from the mutants. They look, if anything, like those green guys from Colony in Space. Or a little bit like the Swampies from The Power of Kroll, but they're not. Then with the Cybermen, the Cybermen design, the Cyber Controller doesn't have like anything to differentiate him. He's just all the Cybermen just look like that. They're they're passable as Cybermen. They're kind of like the ones from the Invasion. I will keep Shockeye for later. We've got the Master, who's just a guy with a beard. It doesn't look like any specific version of the Master, but yeah, I would accept that as an image of the Master. It's an incarnation we've not seen. There's another Cyberman, a bunch more of them. The Ice Warriors kind of look like the Ice Lord from, particularly I think the one from the Seeds of Death, but just generally the Ice Lord. No, it's not Alan Bennett, is it? Oh, something Bennett. John Bennett? Is it John? Or is no, I don't know. I've forgotten who it is that plays the Ice Lord. You know who I mean, the Ice Lord from Seeds of Death and the Peladon ones. Then we've got the Rani. As you might remember, the Rani was played by Queen guitarist Brian May, very famously in the Doctor Who serials. This is the point where they start to get not great. Then we've got Barusa, as played by former wrestler Hulk Hogan. It's Barusa. Good old Barusa. It's another Ice Warrior and another Ice Warrior. Now I think whoever made these, they might have seen the Brain of Morbius, and they thought, oh yeah, I know Morbius. He's just a stone, like a stone head. He's just a stone head. I saw the clay sculpture of a head. It's just a sculpture of a head. It's not Morbius. It's the statue of him from the Brain of Morbius. Omega is by far the best one. This is like that's pretty spot on. That is Omega for sure. So that's good. That's quite a good one. Davros, yeah, I think they nailed it with Davros. Davros is Davros. That's a pretty good picture of it. It's the Michael Wisher version they've gone for. The Daleks, their plungers gone right in. It's receded into their bodies, but and they're green. But I mean, a Dalek's a Dalek. That's fine. Dalek, Cyberman. Okay, now we're getting into the let's see. I want to show you these in an order. The Black Guardian, he's fine. He's traded in his style. He's still got the crow in his head, but he's got himself a nice pink shirt. And why not? To be honest, it looks vaguely like Valentine Dial. That's probably the best likeness to a human character that they've got on any of them. It's kind of downhill from here. K9. I mean, there's only so far wrong you can go with K9. They didn't quite get the shape right, but like yeah, that's K9. That's fine. Now that leaves us with these ones. I'll show you Ace next because Ace is probably the best of the rest. I don't know what. Like I suppose those are meant to be her badges. Like the NASA badge is quite good. Her hair is not bad. The face is not great, but to be honest, yeah, I can buy that as Ace. That's all right. Next, I want to show you the Doctor because the Doctor. Let me give my thoughts on what's going on here. I suspect they had the licensing for the characters and the monsters, but not the actor likenesses. So they just sort of went with kind of generic things. So this Doctor is not based on any specific incarnation of the Doctor. He is Peter Frampton in a hat. That's what we've gone with. It's Peter Frampton. I don't know what to tell you. He's wearing my pink towel over his shoulders. So that, I mean, to be honest, that's fine. I can live with that. Likewise with Romana, um, it's not Mary Tam and it's not Lala Ward. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's Benedict Cumberbatch. But yeah, that's fine. It could be a different incarnation of Romana. There's three more cards, and I don't know which is worst. Um, oh, Gordon Bennett. Okay, well, I'll show you Tegan first. I love Tegan. She's one of my favorite characters. I really like her personality. I really like her look, right? Tegan looks great. I love her. I mean, her air hostess uniform, not so much. I'm also not wild on her the white outfit, but a lot of the later stuff. I love Warriors of the Deep outfit and the Dalek story outfit. Like she's a stylish dresser. I like her hair. She's quite a good sort of aim of look. I wouldn't deign to say that I look anything like her, but like that's a goal. That's a goal. This Tegan is Robin Gibb in a boater hat. I don't know what they were going for there. Why is she wearing a suit? Why any of this? Is that meant to be their attempt at an air hostess outfit? I don't know. They'd have been better with a picture of me. I look more like Tegan than this person does. But no, that's unfortunate. Um, then we've got Garen. Now I took a long time to try and remember who the flip Garen is. He's the guy from the Reboss Operation. I love the Reboss Operation, but I don't remember all the names. I remember Binro the Heretic. I remember Graf Vindicay. I remember um, Unstaff, the sidekick to Garen. Garen is the main conman guy. He looks a bit like Tim McInerney. He looks like if I was casting someone from nowadays, I would cast Tim McInerney to play Garen. He isn't. He's played by Ian Cuthbertson, but he's that sort of look and that sort of voice. Very little hair left, kind of round face. Pretty much the opposite. This is why it took me so long to remember who Garen is, because here they've gone for Santa's bizarre Oompa Loompa cousin. I don't know. What is this meant to be? That is not Ian Cuthbertson. That's not even close. I don't know what the inspiration for that is. Um, Garen's best ability is Time Destructor. Key to Time is quite high, which is good because he was in the Key to Time story. But I noticed a lot of these characters only have Inner Force of the Doctor's companions. I wonder if that's kind of inconvenient. That's their only skill. I wonder how that works in battle. Okay, so I've saved Shockeye for last. Do you remember Shockeye? If you've seen the two Doctors, you will probably remember Shockeye. He's the guy that wants to eat Jamie and Jamie. Uh, he turns Patrick Troughton into one of himself. He's got the orange eyebrows. He's got the Rice Krispies stuck to his face as warts. But otherwise, he just looks like a normal old man. Do you remember Shockeye? Yeah, just looks like a normal old man with warts and funny eyebrows. That was it. That was his whole deal. Well, golly gosh, that is not the picture we've got here. This is um well well now. Goodness me. I don't know what to say. Like, what is this based on? He looks like a cross between the rock biter from the Neverending Story, um, and just some big fat guy. I don't know. I'm so confused by that. What were they? That's it. That's about the drift of it, really. That's all the cards. That's all the pieces. That's how you play the game. Let's be honest, I bought it for the box. It's a beautiful box with some weird cards in it. You can play a game that's kind of confusing and complicated. That's it. I hope you find that as interesting as I did, because I find that fascinating. It's very complicated. It says for ages, I think 10 and up is the recommendation. I think a 10-year-old nowadays, I don't want to jump on the, young people nowadays have very little attention span bandwagon, but I think with all the quick, fast-paced world we're in nowadays, I think most 10-year-olds would find this a bit dull to get all the rules. There's a lot of rules. Um, I think I could play it if I had someone to play it with, but will I? Maybe. It's kind of too nice a thing to just sit around, but at the same time, it's a nice thing to have. That's for sure the most interesting bit of Doctor Who merchandise I own. It's the oldest. Well, it's not the oldest now. I've got some 1970s Target books, but it's an interesting thing. It's a nice thing. Um, would I recommend this as a thing to have? If you like the aesthetic, then yes. If you're wanting a good Doctor Who board game and nothing else, there might be better. To be honest, I don't know if there is. There's Doctor Who Monopoly, but that's just Monopoly. Uh, Doctor Who board games are kind of thin on the ground. There's not a lot of options. So maybe, yeah, maybe give it a go. If you get the chance of it cheap. They don't. It's out of production, I think. I don't think this is. They might have made a newer version more recently. I know there is a game with a similar name with Matt Smith in the box. But this is the original 1989 game. Track it down if you see it in a charity shop and it's cheap. Why not? It's a nice thing to have. Yeah, that's the end of the video. I've been kind of busy recently. There's not been many videos off late, and there's a good reason for that. I've been working on my 10th anniversary. It's coming up in just over a week. It'll be 10 years since my very first YouTube video. And I used to make really big, elaborate, self-congratulatory videos when I reached year milestones. There was one for the 3rd anniversary, it was a really big one, and the 5th anniversary. And I just don't really feel like congratulating myself anymore. So I thought, instead of doing that, I'm going to make just a really good video. And when I had my 500th video the other year, I did a Doctor Who spoof with Peter Capaldi meets William Hartnell. It was went out the same day as Twice Upon a Time, and I thought that was a good video. That was fun. I want to do something like that. So me and Sewage pulled our resources and wrote a script that's like a sequel. It's about the length of an actual Doctor Who episode. I've been working on it flat out for a month. Well, we were scripting it for from March onwards. It's been a lot of work. I've really worn myself out. I've been burning the candle at both ends for like weeks now. It's pretty much done. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in watching, please do. We put so much effort into it. The costumes are quite good, if nothing else. The editing is time consuming, if not good. So yeah, that's coming in just over a week, 28th of May. Mark your calendar, or don't. Until then, thanks for watching, and have a nice day. Look at it! Look at it! I mean, I don't remember the actor's name. He was old then, so he won't be alive anymore. But he would have been alive probably still in 1989. I'd have been completely. I don't look like that. I mean, I kind of do, but that guy doesn't. Be kind, guys. That's not kind. Bye.